Thank you. If you missed the beginning of this show, if you missed the film at the very start, just let me explain briefly again that the name Svengali goes back beyond the novel Trilby that made it famous to being the name of an automaton. And an automaton is an early robot. And this one was built in 1760 by a Hungarian called Hugo von Levast. And these automata were entertainments, they played instruments and so on. But Svengali did something that terrified people in its day. And it looked like a little boy. Specifically, the dead son of its inventor. He'd modeled the likeness on a death mask of his own son that he made when his son died, and then became so obsessed with perfecting that likeness that he drove himself mad, lost everything he had. And after he died, the doll passed through the hands of various collectors, people in inner magic circles, occultists, all of whom were obsessed with discovering Svengali's secrets. 50 years ago, it disappeared completely. No one knew where it was. 5 years ago, it turned up at an auction in Philadelphia, where it was bought by an anonymous bidder. That anonymous bidder was me, and I have Svengali here tonight to perform for you. So he's what's known as a true automaton. A true automaton means it's completely self-contained. There is no one inside or outside operating him. He contains over 150 yards of brass tubing, over 3,000 cogs that make him work, and he wouldn't normally perform for an audience this size. It would be 30 or 40 of you at the most. So we have a camera set up so that you can get a better view of him. So I spent the last 4 years restoring him. He needed a lot of work and a lot of love. The winding happens before the show, takes about 6 minutes. This is just the final tightening that does need to be done now. But following his restoration, he is now back in his original performing state. This I find extraordinary. I ring a bell, and a piece of clockwork responds to the sound of the bell. It knows that the bell has been rung. Now, we've had his own sounds amplified. There's a microphone in there just so that you can hear him, but he responds to the sound of the bell. Watch. So people began to believe that this doll had some kind of supernatural ability. And there were stories of people at the back of the demonstration saying the doll had possessed them, had taken them over, and they'd become cataleptic, unable to move. And von Levast encouraged this belief that the doll could possess people. He became something of a charlatan in his later years. And the act would include a demonstration of a member of the audience possessed by the doll. That's what we're going to do now. Do not take part in this if you have any trouble standing, if you're not completely steady on your feet, if you have any respiratory problems, if you have any condition that might affect your hands or arms, and if you have a severe phobia of needles or injections, do not take part. Otherwise, take a look at his right hand. Now the hand there you see with the maker's mark stamped onto the palm, it's carved from one piece of solid wood. So those fingers are locked together, they do not come apart. All of you please, if you're taking part, bring up your own right hand, bring it up in front of you, and take a look at the same symbol that's been stamped onto your palm, and then close your eyes. Squeeze that hand together, keep your fingers extended, do not clench your fist, lock the hand tighter and tighter into place. Good. So tight now, so tight that on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, but the more you try now to unlock that hand now, harder and harder, the more it locks, doesn't it? The hand just keeps unlocking tighter and harder. Now there will be some people whose fingers will have come apart, they can drop their hands down, but the rest of you, the more you try to unlock that hand in front of you now, the more it keeps unlocking and sticking tighter and tighter. In a moment, I'll tell you to open your eyes. When you do open your eyes in a moment, the moment you see it, it will stick twice as much because your conscious mind becomes aware of it too. It just sticks twice as much. Are you ready? Do it now. Open your eyes. Take a look at it. You'll see what I mean. I want you to show everybody else how good you are at this and stand up. You must stand if your hand is locked. Keep it at eye level, locked out there in front of you. Stand up. All of you please, if your hands are stuck. Good, up you get, good. You must stand, look at the doll. Watch what happens when I ring the bell. When I ring the bell, the doll's arm is going to come up through the air. Your own arm will rise in sympathy with the doll's. And it can come right up above your head. Are you ready? Now, there it goes. Just let it happen. Just let it happen. Up and up, just like, good, there it goes, lovely. Just let it happen, take its own time, might take a moment, then just up it goes. That's good. And it can stick right up there. As it goes right up there, it'll just stick right up there. And as you do this, take a look at the doll. In here, this little pouch is a 200-year-old lady's handkerchief. They used to use this in the act. And embroidered on one corner are 2 initials. The doll is about to put into your head the correct initials that are embroidered on this handkerchief. Are you ready? The way he'll do it is by putting into your mind, when I ring the bell again, the image of someone that you know who has the correct initials. Are you ready? It happens now. In your mind now, the image of someone you know. In your mind now, remember their initials. That person that came into your mind, remember their initials? Remember their initials. The arm locked into place now. If you try and unlock it, it just keeps unlocking and sticking tighter and tighter into place. What's this like? What does this feel like?
Weird.
It is weird, isn't it? And you can really try, but the more you try to bring it down, the more it just keeps unlocking. What's this like? Tell me.
Terrifying.
Yeah. And what if you try and force it down, what happens?
It hurts.
What's your name?
Matt.
Just come around here for me. Look at me, look at me. Do not look at the doll. Good. You're going to keep looking this way. Your arm's going to stay stuck where it is. The rest of you, though, when I ring the bell, he lets go, your arm comes down, your fingers come apart, and that happens now. There it goes. There it goes. Arm comes down, fingers come apart. You can sit yourselves down. Now you've got 2 hands. Give Matt a hand as you bring him up on stage. Up you come, Matt. Up you come. Okay, Matt, you're going to come and stand over here for me. Come and stand on this cross just there and turn and face me. Turn and face me, Matt. All right. Now listen, a couple of things are going to happen very quickly here. Just look up into the palm of your hand. Just start to feel your eyes getting a little heavy around now. That's good. And as I touch you on the hand, your eyes just close. And then as the hand comes down, you can just sink and tumble and fall right the way down, right the way deep, right the way sound asleep. I want the rest of you to take a look at his feet. You see, Svengali's feet don't move. These are locked into place. In the same way, Matt, you can think about your right foot now, and you can just let him, as you think about it, just take hold of that right foot. And as he does that, that right foot just locks into place. Your left foot, you can move. You can do what you like with your left foot. In fact, if you try and take a step forward, you find you don't get very far because you can only move one foot. You can move the left foot, but the right one just locks. That's good. As soon as you try and move it, it just locks even tighter. That's very good. Now let's bring this left foot back, and now he takes that foot as well, and now both feet stick. Both feet now stick into the floor. If you try and unlock either foot, they just keep on pressing. The more you try, the more they stick, the more they just root down into the stage. That's very good, Matt. When I touch you on the head in a moment, you can open your eyes, because you're not hypnotized, so you can open your eyes and look at me. I'm going to touch you here on the throat in a second. When I do, your throat and vocal cords are going to stick. You'll find that you can't talk. If you look at the doll, he can't talk. You see, his mouth doesn't even move. That's why he needs the alphabet board to tap out his answers. His mouth doesn't even move. When I touch you here, your throat and vocal cords will stick. When you try and say a word, nothing comes out. And that happens, look at me, now. Now if you try and say something, anything you like, you see, the more you try. So you can hear him breathe, he can make, but if he tries to say a word, nothing happens. How does it feel? And if you think about your right hand at the moment, Matt, that is locked into place, you see? Keep your eyes open. I want you to see what's going on there. If he tries to move that right arm, if he tried to bring it up like this, nothing happens. If he tries to move it of his own accord, nothing happens. It just locks there. Yet, when I ring the bell, the doll's right arm comes up. Watch what his right arm does. And it'll lock into place. If he tries to force it down on his own, nothing happens. It just locks tighter. That's good. You see, Matt, you can try, but it just locks. Yet, when I ring the bell again, that's very good, Matt. Excellent. And now I just want you to close your eyes and just relax and sink down into that sleep state. That's good. Nice and deeply. Very good. Now we're going to bring in a chair behind you. I'm going to pop you back in this chair. That means he's going to release the tension. So you can relax, so you can sit straight back down. There's a chair right behind you. That's very good. Excellent. Let's just wheel you around here. You're doing very good. Your eyes can remain closed, and you can just sleep nice and deeply for me as I talk to the audience. So a lot of this was really interesting to me, but it could be explained. It could be explained through suggestion. Namely, that if the subject, like Matt here, can see the doll's arm coming up, for example, that his unconscious mind knows to copy it. What was really interesting to me is where similar things would happen, but where the subject couldn't see the doll, so it couldn't be explained through suggestion. So at the moment his eyes are closed, I want you to sit up nice and straight for us, Matt. Can't see anything that's important, his eyes are closed. All right, Matt, that'll seem like an odd question to you, I'm sure, but if you felt any poking or tapping, I need you to just raise one arm up in front of you. Just as a clear signal. Good. Okay, that's going to be your signal from now on that you can feel this. But actually, just while you're doing that, just bring that arm up. Just show us exactly where you felt it. Let me just check this. Excellent. Very good indeed. Okay, so we'll do it again. Each time that we do this, I want you just to signal to the audience when you feel it. It'll be in a different place and a different feeling now when we do it. That doesn't matter. Just a nice, clear signal to the audience. Just raise one arm straight up, clearly in the air, out in front of you, the moment that you feel this here. Very good. Excellent. Raise your hand when you feel this here. Very good. And it wasn't just a question of these simple demonstrations of a physical rapport that springs up between the doll and the subject. This got taken to a level that became too much for the Catholic Church. In 1873, they exorcised Svengali, which is extraordinary. It's the only time in the history of the Catholic Church that a doll has gone through the entire ritual of exorcism reserved for a human being, and it was for precisely the demonstration that I will show you now. Okay, that's very good, Matt. Let's just put you right there. And I'm going to give you a couple of things to hold on to. Thank you very much. Now this is a blackboard, so if I rest that there, you can bring that arm up and just hold on to that there for me. That's very good. Excellent. That can stay just there for me. And in your other hand, a piece of chalk. Let me give you that. You can just grip hold of that. Lovely. Now you can leave your arm just where it is, but just pay attention now to the feelings in your left arm and your left hand as the doll takes full control. You'll start to feel little movements and tugs and twitches in the arm that don't come from you, but it can just remain where it is for the moment. The rest of you, included in the sale of the doll, were a couple of other items of significance. In particular, this handkerchief here. Now, I will show this to you. Please don't say anything out loud. Obviously, he can't see anything, but I don't want him hearing either. The initials on the corner of this handkerchief are that. So paying attention now to the feelings in that left arm and that left hand, Matt, as the doll starts to take control. That's good. The left arm, always known as the devil's arm, always used for any kind of possession writings. Although he's probably right-handed, we use the left arm. The word sinister comes from the Latin for left-handed. It has a long history of association with the occult. When I ring the bell in a moment, Matt, the doll will bring your arm up and across to the board, and he will write through you just the first of those two initials, nice and clearly on the board. Svengali, would you please write for us, through Matt, the first of the two initials on the board, nice and clearly. Would you do that for us now? Very good. That's very good indeed. Let's do this again. Svengali, would you please write for us, through Matt, the second of the two initials? Do that for us now. Excellent. That's very good. And now the doll relinquishes all control. He lets go of you. Now you will feel a change happen. You'll feel a shift inside you. You'll feel a weight lifting from you. You'll feel your limbs relaxing. Your throat will open up. You'll feel that weight shifting from you. When you're quite ready to come back to us, you'll be able to open your eyes. Thank you, Matt. Let me just take this from you. So you wrote there, I think that's a D and an S. Now, or at least your arm wrote that. What did that feel like? Did it feel like you were moving your own arm?
No, it felt really, really weird. Like I'd
really
lost
weird.
control of it, and I was sort of trying to fight it, but it was just drawing my hand to the board, and it felt really shaky, like I couldn't write properly.
Against your own will,
Yeah.
you were trying to stop it.
Yeah.
Stand up for me. Let me show you what happened. So yes, you wrote a D and an S, right? Now, if you just come and stand here for me, facing the front. This is a 200-year-old lady's handkerchief, so they would use this in the act. They said that it was von Lavash's childhood sweethearts. Probably wasn't true, but there are two initials on it. Can you read those initials?
DS.
D and an S.